Welcome back to A Seat at My Table. This is Chef Luis Sanchez, and Thanksgiving is literally in a week. So I always get asked what my favorite side dish is for Thanksgiving, and it's always sweet potato mash. Love them or hate them, because I know some haters out there, and that's fine. I'm just going to show you the way I make them, and they're easy to make, and you can make them vegan if you want, and I'll show you some tricks to do that. They're sweet, they're smooth, they're awesome, and they're great with the saltiness of a good piece of turkey. See you at the kitchen. Alright, we're back at the kitchen. Today we're making our sweet potato mash. And I guess let's talk sweet potatoes. So the recipe, which is in the bottom, calls for, I believe, 3 to 4 sweet potatoes. That all depends on the size. So sweet potatoes are one of those crazy things that are never really the same size. I guess potatoes are the same way. So today I got a hold of this monster sweet potato. In which case, for 4 people, you might get away with just 1. And today I'm just showing you how to make it. So every time I show how to make something, you have to, do a little bit of the math. If I'm making it for about 4 people and you have 8 people, so double the recipe. If it's just 2 people, then get a smaller sweet potato. But when you can get a hold of a bigger one, there's a couple of cool things that happen, which is you have to work less on the peeling because you're only peeling 1. Smaller ones are a little bit harder to peel. So you want to rub this bad boy with a little bit of oil and salt and pepper and wrap it in foil and put it in the oven for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to roast it. And you're going to end up with a product looks like this, where the skin is wrinkly and it's starting to caramelize a little bit, and then we're going to peel it. Wait for it to cool down a little bit before you peel, but sweet potatoes peel pretty easily. It's not a hard thing to do, and if you do find a part that's kind of sticky, you can always just use a little knife. So I'm just going to hold it, and it doesn't matter if it breaks. Remember, we're going to mash this. It's still a little bit warm, which makes it easier to mash. So you want to do this when it's warm, not hot where you're going to burn your hands. But see, I got lucky today, and it just sort of falls off. Every once in a while, you'll feel a little bit of a root. Remember, this is a root vegetable, so like in this case, and you'll see it. I think they're called eyes when you see the little dots on the skin, and then there's one here, and when you pull up, you'll get a little bit of root coming out, so you want to get rid of that. You will also probably most likely catch it when you mash it. So we're going to place our sweet potato that's been peeled into a bowl. I'm going to get rid of this, and then I'm going to wipe my hands. I have some paper towels here, and then what are we going to flavor our sweet potato with? And we're going to do that with a little bit of cream. It's sort of like mashed potatoes, but a little bit sweet. So I'm going to make it with cream, a little maple syrup, butter, salt, pepper, and just for a little spice, I'm going to do a little cayenne pepper and a little cinnamon because it's the holidays. If you want this to be vegan, by all means, oat milk works really well because it's a little bit richer than almond milk. Almond milk, I'm not mad at you, it's just that you're a little bit thinner. And for this recipe, I'll rather do the oat milk. And then there's some actually pretty good vegan butter out there, so you can replace that with those ingredients. So in this pot, I'm adding my cream. Remember, the recipe is on the bottom here. I'm adding my cream, and I'm adding my maple syrup, which I believe is 1/4 cup. And then I'm adding my butter. If you like things sweeter, another trick that I would say is taste your sweet potato. You can just cut a little bit of a corner of the sweet potato and taste it. This one's actually a good one. So if you taste yours and it's not as sweet, then first make the mix and then mix it up a little bit. You can always add stuff to it. It's much harder to take stuff back than to add. So if it's too sweet, it's going to be a little bit harder to fix. So here we have the butter, the cream, and the maple syrup, and we're going to add a little bit of salt, not too much because we can adjust for salt and pepper later, and a little bit of pepper. And then we're going to bring this mixture into the stove top. And all we want to do is melt the butter and incorporate the ingredients and get it nice and hot. And then we're going to pour it into our sweet potato, which I'm going to show you how to mash right now, which is the simplest thing ever. So this is about $3, and it's a potato masher. If you don't have this, you can use a whisk. If you don't have that, I am sure you have this at home because it's probably the most widely used tool in your kitchen, so you can just do it with a fork. So it doesn't matter what you have, just make sure you mash it, and you're going to press it down, and it's really easy, especially when it's warm, to mash it. And then here you're going to start noticing this one is a sweet one, but it's a little bit more watery than I would like. So I might not need all the mixture that I'm making. So this is when you kind of want to make your adjustment. When you're mashing with this, you want to kind of push down and turn, and you want to put your weight into it, and then kind of rotate it. Once it's all mashed in, this is the time in which if you see any roots or something, you want to get them out of the way. I'm going to put this in our sink. And remember, we're going to bring our liquid mixture into the stove top, let the butter melt, let all the ingredients incorporate, and then we're going to bring it hot, and we're going to literally pour it in here and season it again, and then we're almost done with our dish. So I'll see you guys soon. All right, welcome back. Remember, sweet potato today, sweet potato mash is made in the sense that they're mashed, but it's not a finished dish yet. And over here we have our mixture that we heated up with the cream, the maple syrup, the butter, salt and pepper, and then we're going to season it with cinnamon and cayenne pepper when it's over here. So I'm bringing our hot mixture over here. And then a main thing that when you read a recipe or when you're cooking, a lot of things are, you read a recipe and they have exact amounts. But at the end of the day, you're the one cooking. You know what you're looking for. If you like something a little more loose or runny, then add more liquid. If you like it more dry, then make less of the mixture or add it a little bit at a time. Remember, it's much easier to add than to take out. So I know that my sweet potato mash needs a little more liquid, but not a lot. So I am most likely not going to use all this. And then what do you do with this, right? You have a little bit of leftover cream, butter, and maple syrup. So you can make really awesome French toast the next day with it. So remember, much easier to add than to take out. So I think, and then right now we're doing something called folding, which we're gonna probably learn down the line when you're making soufflés and things like that, where you just kind of airing it in. So you're not going crazy mixing it. You just want to, because I love them when they're fluffy. So I'm just kind of folding it in, which means bringing it around and then cutting through the middle and then bringing it around again. And at this point, I'm going to come in with a little bit of cinnamon. And by a little bit, I mean a lot because I love cinnamon. And then, once again, this is the part. I love cinnamon. You might like cinnamon. You might very little like cinnamon, so add less. And then cayenne pepper. I love my spicy food, but I don't want a lot of it. And cayenne is very powerful, so I'm just going to add a little dash of it. And then before I do anything else, I'm going to taste it because you want it to be sweet potato in the sense that it's going to be sweet, but you also want to be able to taste everything that you put in here. The maple syrup, the cinnamon, the cayenne, and the salt too, because salt balances your dish. So always have a little spoon and taste a little bit of it. See, for me, it's good, but it needs a little more salt. So we're going to add some more salt. And I can get a little bit of the cayenne, but we're going to add a little bit more of that. And I'm going to add a little bit more of our mixer. I forgot it was hot, and that's going to happen to you, and that's okay. Nobody saw you. Everyone saw me. So I'm going to add a little bit of it. And I'm going to fold that in. Once more, using our little souffle technique. And once we're here, if everything is hot, like in the case of my recipe, then you can go ahead and go in the oven right away with the marshmallows on top. My oven is preheating with a broil, what is that, a broil setting, I guess. If you don't have a broil setting, it's fine. Just turn your oven on. They will still melt. They will just take a little bit longer. If you have a broil option, stand next to it because it's crazy how fast marshmallows burn. And once they're burned to the point where they're black, it's throw away the whole thing time. So you're better off getting them out when they're nicely kind of brown and letting them get a little bit darker on the table than the other way around. And trust me, they go fast. So here I have a oven-baked Pyrex that we have a bunch here, so it was easy to find one. So we're going to pour this in here, and then we're going to top it with our marshmallows. So I'm just bringing all this in here. Cool. And then we're going to level it out a little bit. This is the time where this little bit of sweet potato is going to burn you. And it's going to be hard to clean because it's going to be sticky because it's sweet. So this is the time where you want to wipe it, also for presentation. Even if you cook for yourself, you always want to present it nicely. Even if that doesn't make any sense to you, it should, because that's how you practice, and then whenever you have to do something for a group of people that you want to impress, then you do it right. So, marshmallows, let's talk marshmallows. One day I'll show you how to make marshmallows. They're not easy, they're not hard, but for this time we just bought some. So these are little baby cute little marshmallows. You can use the big kind, but I like them for this recipe. If you want it, if you're like me, which I love like hazelnuts and cashews and things like that, you can fold this into your sweet potato mash if you want. And that will give you a little more texture. But today we kept them kind of traditional in a way, and we're just spreading them out on top. You know, it's one of the things, my kids love sweets, but they won't eat this. And I've tried a lot. I've tried with extra marshmallows, and they just won't touch them. So I end up eating all of them, which is okay with me. But it's kind of weird because they love sweets. At this point, our oven's on broil. We're going to put it there. Remember, stand right there because they're going to go fast. And then I'll show you the finished product when we come back. Alright, welcome back. Sweet potato mash came out of the oven, and as you see, a little bit hot. So as you see, I'm holding this to the camera. You can see how the marshmallows got nicely golden brown, and some of them went a little bit too far, but that's still within the area that they're tasty. Otherwise, they go too far and now they get bitter. So easy dish to make. Remember, Thanksgiving is next week, so this is an awesome side dish for Thanksgiving. I have a little plate here, and a shout out to my son Diego, who this is his dragon face. So he was doing this dragon coloring things with he kind of got tired of paper, so he started doing the plates and other things that I got mad at him for. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and plate this. This, you know, a little bit of it goes a long way, so you don't need a lot of it. And you always want to make sure that when you serve this, you include the marshmallows on top. And it's sort of like a mashed potato, so it's not overly complicated. You saw how easy it was to make. You put this on your table, it'll hold heat because the container was hot. And that's it. I'm going to get to taste one of my favorite, actually my favorite side dish on Thanksgiving, which is sweet potato mash. And I'll let you know how they are in 1 second. A little bit hot, but really good. It's I think it's the marshmallow too. Like, it's so different. You don't really, this is like camping food, you know, like you don't really get to do this a lot. And maybe we should put marshmallows on more things. Maybe, I don't know, lasagna with marshmallows. Maybe I'll try that. But it's great. Remember, my name is Chef Luis Sanchez. Don't forget to make this on your Thanksgiving recipe. It's only a week away, and join me next week for another episode of A Seat at My Table. I hope you're enjoying this series.